Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Steven's Vinyl Adventures here on Yesshift. And now, don't worry, the next time that there is one of these episodes put out, I'll be back with Dad, and we'll actually be interviewing Richie Castellano. He'll be talking about working with John Anderson on this tour with the band Geeks and the new album True. So that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, lots of great stuff. And before I forget, I've been meaning to say this. We interviewed Scott Hyam, who drummed on Oliver Wakeman's album on Amkara. We interviewed him, or Dad interviewed him on Drum Talk TV recently, and I think we mispronounced his surname, so it's Hyam. So just putting that out there, making sure we correct ourselves on the show. But yeah, this sub series, Steven's Vinyl Adventures, is a little detour that I'm taking now and then. Recently acquired this record player. So these vinyl records I've acquired over the last couple years or so, I'm finally getting around to playing them rather than just listening to a CD or the digital release and just having the vinyl record for a show. So for this particular episode, I wanted to do what I call a future double feature, which feels very apt. I previously did one of these for the vinyl version of Talk, which begins with the calling, in the beginning is the future and all that. So for the title came about as an idea because of these records, which again I've listened to before in different formats, but not on like the vinyl versions that I have. So there's Thank You from the Future by Moonletters. And I've talked about this before, as well as the other one I'm about to pull up. And A Memory of Our Future by Mandoki Soulmates. This one just came out back in May, and this came in the mail recently. It got a lot of cool names there. So I wonder if I'm able to show them on screen at the same time. I want to be careful though. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's as good as it's gonna get, but. So these were a lot of fun to revisit. For the Moonletters album, it was a bit of a longer while. And for Mandoki Soulmates, I listened to it, I think, in the middle of last month. I actually did a review of the album last month. I was able to listen to the digital version, but I was also sent the vinyl version, so I was able to fulfill the review of the digital version, but now I can talk about what's like playing the physical release. And Dad will be interviewing Leslie Mandoki on June 26th, I believe. Let me just double check that that's the case. Yeah, so that'll be on Drum Talk TV, where Dad interviews drummers and such. And that'll be broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube, and then posted on Vimeo and Instagram. Let's see. So yeah, that is June 26th, which is a Wednesday, and it'll be at noon Pacific Daylight Time. 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. So mark your calendars for that. So Moonletters is a rock band from Seattle. Sometimes it feels like there's something kind of, I don't know, there's something kind of enchanting about the idea of, they're a band from Seattle or a band from Portland or from Chicago or something. Like, I don't know, there's just something about that whenever it's a backstory for a band. But yeah, I saw Moonletters perform a little more than a year ago. I saw them, they were doing this show where Lobate Scarp performed as well, and so did Behold the Monolith. I think Moonletters was the second set of that concert, and they were great. Their music is it can get proggy and it feels modern and spacey, but there are moments where, especially this time around, playing the record on my record player, there were bits where I was kind of reminded of ELP, like their Tarkus album, for example. And on the sleeve, I really love the colors. And oh, let me show you the back. And I'm sure I've shown this before, but just a little refresher, or maybe some of you missed it. Yeah, I love the rainbow coloring, and I don't remember if I noticed before this listen that there is a picture of the lineup of the band. So you've got John Alday, Dave Webb, Mike Murphy, Michael True, and Kelly Mines. Yeah, it's a nice black and white photo. And it's pretty much the size, or almost the size of the sleeve. It's got to be smaller so it can fit inside. And let me go ahead and show you the record. So it's in this white sleeve, and it's got like a grayish color to it. And when I played this on this record player that I have, I'll go ahead and show it again in case anyone hasn't seen it already. I don't really watch many online shows where people talk about their vinyl records, but this is pretty much how it goes, right? Like I've seen some here and there, but not as frequently. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like having a record player and finally playing these has added a bit more spice to my music listening life. So I'll go ahead and change the camera view so you can see the. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so it's that right there. And as I play these, I'm learning, how to make sure to be really, really careful, because the records, they go like, they're like that big, so they almost look like they're about to touch these components right here, the thing that holds the needle and that you move. I should learn all the names of these parts. And when I was there was a moment when listening to the Mandoki Soulmates album where I realized, okay, like this part here, that's like midway through the needle holder, like that could, if you move things around, could end up being over here and accidentally touch the record. So you gotta make sure like not to do that so that you don't get some unexpected sound. So I'll go ahead and switch it back to me. So when I was listening to the Moonletters record, I noticed there was kind of this. It kind of felt like this noise that was persisting in the background, like a, and I was trying to figure out what it was. And when I realized that, it's like, oh, that's how this all sounds when I turn the volume all the way up on the knob. I had it at max volume, so something like that was kind of noticeable. So I dialed it back a bit, so it felt more like how the album is meant to be listened. And this does, listening to this album through the the speaker of this record player, it's almost like it goes through like a filter that slightly vintageizes it, if that's even a word. And so there is a noticeable difference if I play it on here compared to if I listen to the album on Bandcamp or YouTube, like the official channel and whatnot. But yeah, it was a nice experience, and I was kind of surprised how much, there were bits of the music I remembered when I put this on. and it had been quite a while since the last time I listened to it. So I was very pleased that I was able to remember a bit, and also rediscovering this. And it's like, oh man, why have I waited so long to re-listen to this? And yeah, like I've said, the art, it's very colorful. I quite like how it feels like a contrast. Like you get the rainbow spectrum colors here, but all around you get like warm colors with green in between. I think it's a really slick design for that. So that's Thank You from the Future. And now a memory of our future. And I gotta say, the songs, are such, there are certain lyrics that get stuck in my head in a good way, like a memory of our future. And, there's such great flute playing. Ian Anderson is on this, like I've mentioned before. The guitar notes, the keyboard sounds. And like I said, on Thank You from the Future, that one could sound spacey, and part of that is, the keys are used. But yeah, on a Memory of Our Future, out of the 3 vinyl records I've played on this record player, this one feels the closest to sounding like the digital version that I've listened to. And I think there is a reason for that. What's really cool is the inside of the gatefold. You kind of get the story of, like, Mandoki Soulmates and the album. And I believe there's, sorry, I'm moving my mic. I believe I remember there was a part here that talked about recording this onto tape. Let me see if I can find that bit. And overall, I really like the design, the layout, and all the pictures. It's really cool. And you have some nice thank yous here and whatnot. Let's see the artist statement. And, the 30th anniversary of this band is very recent. Mandoki Soulmates. Wow, I'm like struggling to find this. I really should have like dug through this before going live. Let's see, tape. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure there was a moment where oh yeah, there is this bit that says the revenge of the analog. Let's see, singing and playing with me into beautiful AKG, Newman, and JFL microphones, monitoring ourselves on AKG and JBL headphones, and having their signals go through a chain of some of the greatest studio electronics on the planet, all to hit the Rolls Royce of tape recorders, our 24-track Studer A800 MK3 with its legendary warmth and detail. Okay. Yeah, and I think there's a bit somewhere earlier as well. Yeah, so I guess, if the technique of recording this, I guess, could harken back a bit. And I wonder if maybe that is part of why the digital version and the vinyl version, as played on this record player, at least sound so close together, closer than the other ones I've put on to listen on this. And I'll go ahead and show the records as well. Well, there's also this huge booklet which has the lyrics, and I love when these sleeves include the lyrics. It's a nice rendition of the bird there. You got reds and blues. That looks so nice. You got the credits, all the musicians here. It's a nice layout. And I know that showing this on the webcam doesn't do it justice, like, at all. So you got these different fonts that are used for the lyrics, but they are big enough for you to be able to read along as you listen. So it was cool to be able to have that at the ready. There are, the song titles are in, or is it the song titles? No, it's okay. There are words that are in red at certain points, and I very much like the design aesthetic, and in the background, it's kind of like you see like the volume thing here, and this is some really cool stuff. You also get more photos of the musicians involved. Let me see if I can show that a bit closer. Yeah, I love these glimpses into the studio. It really adds something, makes you feel like you're there as you're listening. And I'll go ahead and show the records. So these ones are black, and they come in a black sleeve. All right, so there you have that one. Yeah, that's the side 1 and side 2. I don't know why I said the in front of that, but yeah, it is what it is. And you got side 3 and side 4. And like I mentioned before in my review of this album, this is such great music. It makes you feel like you're out in nature when listening to this. It's incredible. It's a huge feat. It's proggy. It's got jazzy bits as well. So I cannot recommend it enough. It's definitely worth a listen if you're not familiar with it. So yeah, check out Mandoki Soulmates and check out Moonletters. And yeah, it's funny having the theme of like future, in the titles, and these formats are very much of the past, but are still fun to listen to. So like I said previously, I'm going on a trip this weekend, and then next week we'll be interviewing Richie Castellano, and then I'll be seeing Adam Wakeman's band Jazz Sabbath, and I'll do a recap / review of that. But after that, I'll talk about the next vinyl thing that my next listen, which you will be able to choose. And the options include, and you can comment like which one you'd like the next one to be. So the 4 options that I've chosen for now, for you to choose from, are Charcoal Grace by Caligula's Horse, The Other Side by Ruth Radelet, Let the Truth Speak by Earthside, and the Singles Collection by Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. That one would take a bit longer to listen to. So people have voted so far, and you can do this by commenting on the socials, or there's, I'm also on X, and I put a poll there over at Steven Schinder, and that ends on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, I think. So whatever has the most votes will be the next thing that I listen to / talk about. And then if the others have votes, it'll kind of go in descending order. So the one with the second most votes will be the one after, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, it looks like the ELP Singles Collection has a slight lead over Charcoal Grace, but hey, more votes can change that. I believe Charcoal Grace actually had a deluxe digital release today or this week sometime. So yeah, go ahead and let me know what you'd like the next thing to be. And yeah, we've got great stuff coming up, and it's been such a great time to be a Yes fan. I believe the UK leg of the tour has ended. I saw a couple posts about how Trevor Horn was there to see the show. And and Harry Whitley, who's with Asia now, I think was at that show. Now he's rehearsing with the others for the upcoming Asia Heat of the Moment tour. And we actually have an interview with Harry, as well as, when is this? Yeah, okay. It is on the 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. UK. Yeah, Harry Whitley and John Mitchell, and they'll be talking about the upcoming Asia Heat of the Moment tour. So to recap, we've got Richie on June 11th, 6 p.m. Pacific, Harry and Whitley and John Mitchell on June 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific. And Leslie Mandoki will be on Drum Talk TV June 26th at noon Pacific. Yeah, and there will be some other stuff in between. But yeah, we got some great stuff planned out for this month and for further into the summer as well. So lots of great fun. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you tuned in live or if you listened after the fact. And until next time, this is Yesshift, and I'm Steven, and thanks for how do I end these things? Like, what do I say at the end? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.